Well, let me start with you first. I believe that was the fourth attempt by Trump to say, don't blame me. But not once has he said that he was sickened to be in the presence of a Holocaust denier, which is what any normal human being would say.
Well, I talked just before this segment, I talked to Jonathan Greenblatt of the Anti-Defamation League, and he said, you just talked about some of the things he said, but he said it's awful, appalling, and it's totally in character for Donald Trump. And he said he also brought up the example that he didn't know who David Duke was. So that's kind of going back to this moment. But, and then he also, Greenblatt also talked about Kanye West and the fact that he's also exhibiting racist behavior with White Lives Matter and his talk about slavery, and then also his misguided mindset, if you will, on what happened to George Floyd. So Donald Trump was in company that does not bode well for his attempts to endear the Jewish community, nor the Black community, and even the community at large, because this is viewed as racist, anti-Semitic, and more.
Yeah. And we're talking to Jonathan Greenblatt, by the way, from the Anti-Defamation League in our 5 o'clock hour. So stay tuned for that. But Alice, you know, part of the problem with Trump's explanation is, as ridiculous as it is that we've heard a version of this before, multiple times, in fact. Let's watch.
Well, just so you understand, I don't know anything about David Duke, okay? I don't know anything about what you're even talking about with white supremacy. You also had people that were very fine people on both sides. What do you want to call them? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
supremacists and
white
supremacists and right
Proud Boys. Stand back and stand by.
Alice, what did you think when you heard about this? And why are we not seeing you know, a stampede of Republican leaders coming forward to absolutely denounce this and say Donald Trump is no longer a member of this party? We just aren't seeing anything like that. Why not?
I expect to see more of that. We had Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson on State of the Union this morning. He talked about this. He said when you meet with people, you empower them. And it's wrong to have people like this in your presence, in your home, basically. And to be quite honest, Jim, you're known by the friends you keep. And if a friend of yours brings an anti-Semite, a racist to your home, it says just as much about you as it does about them. And the fact that Donald Trump allowed this person down to Mar-a-Lago says an awful lot about him. When you bring someone to the table, you give them a voice in the conversation. And now this anti-Semite Holocaust denier has a big platform and a voice for his hatred, and that's wrong. Here's the political implication of this, Jim. You know how this works. Anyone who's seriously looking at being the Republican candidate in 2024, you're up in Ohio, you're up in Iowa, you're in New Hampshire, you're in South Carolina. You're having dinners with pastors and farmers at the Machine Shed in Des Moines, Iowa, not with racists and anti-Semites in a country club down in Florida. So this, I think, will have tremendous political implications for him as we move forward, because there are other options out there to think about.
In April, President Biden on Nantucket this weekend was asked about this. And, you know, you and I both know, April, covering the White House, sometimes the president hears a question, doesn't want to answer, doesn't need to answer it. But President Biden made this comment. Let's watch.
Mr. President, what do you think of Donald Trump having dinner with the white nationalists? Dad, say what you said. What do you think of that, sir?
You don't want to hear what I think.
April, what did you think of that?
Well, you have to remember that those words still speak volumes. You don't want to know what I think. But this president, this current president, became a candidate for the Oval Office because of what happened in Charlottesville, and that clip you just played. There are very fine people on both sides. But at the end of the day, you have a president of the United States who realizes that the man who was the impetus for him to run again is doing it all over again. And this could indeed be his opponent. So he is probably being very strategic. If I'm putting on my understanding cap of what a president does, he's probably being very strategic in this moment as to when to talk and how to talk about Donald Trump. But also, one thing that we are forgetting in this conversation, I wonder what Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, is saying about this moment. That is one person I want to hear from as well in this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alice, let's move on to something else besides you know who. Twitter's new owner, Elon Musk, said on Friday, and this kind of goes to what you were talking about a few moments ago, that he would support Florida Governor Ron DeSantis if he were to run for president in 2024. He made the comment as part of a lengthy thread about why he had decided to give Trump his Twitter account back. He's obviously a billionaire who now owns this platform. But what impact do you think that has, that Elon Musk is, and you're hearing this from other folks in the Republican Party. There's a lot of movement towards Ron DeSantis, which is maybe it's a sort of a hold there, a placeholder for anybody but Trump.
Right. Look, one of the things that we're seeing a lot more from Republicans and Elon Musk and people with big platforms and voices is we do need to turn the page. And another thing that Musk said was that he would support someone that is more centrist and sensible. And he has expressed his concerns about the Biden administration. So I think it's positive that you have someone with a platform like Elon Musk to encourage people, specifically Republicans, let's find someone a lot more sensible than this. And I encourage Trump's base, now is a good time to listen to those voices. Here's my message to Trump's base. If you really want to help Trump's legacy, you need to lock arms and line up behind someone else, someone who is more centrist, someone who is a rational Republican, a common sense conservative, someone that can win a general election. Because I can tell you, Jim, and you know how this works, someone that is as extreme as Donald Trump and an election denier cannot win a national election in the future. And we learned that from this past midterm election.
Well, he keeps losing. I mean, he is,
right.
Was a loser in 2018 and midterms there, 2020, and of course 2022. April, Musk also said that he was, quote, fine with Trump not using his restored account. I mean, I guess we do have to remember, April, why Trump's account was shut down. It was shut down because of Trump inciting an insurrection on January 6th. But what do you make of what Elon Musk is doing there?
Words matter, and Elon Musk has aligned himself by allowing Donald Trump to have his Twitter account back with someone who's very controversial as an investigation continues on what happened in January 6th and other issues. But at the end of the day, Elon Musk owns Twitter like he owns Tesla. It is his entity, but it's also others' decision to stay on it. There has been a change with Twitter, a noticeable change. And the question is, how long will people stay with Twitter as these changes continue to unfold?
Yeah, it's not easy to ride on the back of the tiger when the tiger is a dumpster fire full of extremists. All right, Alice Stewart, April Ryan, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Coming up, why Iran is now calling for the U.S. to be kicked out of the World Cup before their big match this week.